Hey there, everyone. That sexy nerd is back again. Oh, shit, my hair. Hey there, everyone. That sexy nerd is back again. And I know I said I'd put more videos immediately, but boy, YouTube can be janky. But I'm trying to do what I can, so let's get on with The Storm. One of the best episodes ever. I mean, to be fair, though, I remember, I always remember Zuko's story. This is when Zuko became really important, I remember, because I didn't care for Zuko. I liked him. I didn't really like him, but, I liked that he was there. He was kind of like Team Rocket for me. He was kind of like Team Rocket, every single time it would be like, looks like Team Rocket is blasting off again! And, Zuko just seemed like that to me, but then after this episode, after you find out his backstory, I know that they hinted kind of like that his father did to him, like the first time he dueled the master. They were like laying those damn breadcrumbs throughout the movie. It is just fantastic to see. And then this is the first appearance of Ozai, technically, not real appearance of Ozai, but the first, time you kind of see him. And he's voiced by Mark Hamill, which, Luke Skywalker is evil. And come on, he has more, honestly, Mark Hamill has way more experience playing evil people than he does good people. Because, like, Joker. Need I say more? He's probably the best Joker they ever said. Fight me on that. I don't care. Jack Nicholson, even Heath Ledger. Joker, Mark Hamill's Joker encompasses everything about him. He could be scary. He could be funny. That's all you need to know. And either and also weirdly obsessed with Batman as well. Jack Nicholson didn't have enough time to do that, to be weirdly obsessed with Batman. I guess he kind of was. He was very interested. And Heath Ledger was a damn horrifying Joker. Like, seriously, like, scary. And, nobody cares about Jared Leto, so let's not mention him. So, who else played the Joker recently? And Joaquin Phoenix as well. But Joaquin Phoenix kind of made the role his own and everything, and he's a sympathetic Joker. Actually, I don't know. The Joker can never be sympathetic, but they actually decided to do that, and it worked. The movie was that movie was fantastic. But anyway, let's not get into Batman for now, because Batman, if you get me started, I won't shut up about him. Anyway, but not only that, I remember, I think I grew to that, but as I said, I feel that was when I really started to like Zuko. I didn't like Zuko that much until like this moment. I still didn't really like him because, again, Aang and everything, but he was the antagonist. But like, it didn't go until like season 3 where I fell in love with the guy. But, I've seen so many reactions to the show as well, like, especially the girls are always like, oh, I love him, and this and that and the other, and on and on and on, and I guess there's something there. It's like, you just want to hug the guy sometimes. Oh, and no, I think the real episode where I started falling in love with him, not season 3, it was season 2, Zuko Alone. That episode really got me to like him. Because I was like, man, he's like an older brother. And he's a badass. He's a badass Clint Eastwood Western hero and everything. It was cool. It was really cool. But anyway, we're not on that episode yet. And let's talk about Aang. Aang, I was fully focused on originally. But now that I'm looking back on it, I actually like Zuko's backstory way more. Regardless of the fact that Aang is the Avatar and he ran away. But, he's also a 12-year-old kid that everybody just dumped this all on. His life was just getting ruined. And it's really a depressing story, and I never really got how they're both similar Okay, I guess they are really similar, but they also had different upbringings, and I feel like their upbringings were very different from each other, you know? But still, to be fair, I always was shook by the look that they give. I never could understand why I was so emotionally invested in that moment in particular, but yeah, it's a really, really great show. It honestly should have won an Emmy if I believe it should have won like an Emmy or something, because it is. It's probably like one of the best it's probably one of the best episodes, if not the best episode of the show. I mean, in my opinion, I like some episodes more, but that's just me. So, let's not talk about it anymore, and let's just get into the episode. And remember, please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve it. And let's do this thing, y'all. This one's going to be a long one. I can already tell.
What's crazier in this dream? Gliding and therefore maybe airbending Sokka, or Momo that's bigger than Appa? Momo that's bigger than Appa would be a menace, like maybe a bigger threat than the Fire Nation.
Why? Why exactly? Why would he be a bigger threat than the Fire Nation? You know he... Oh. I don't think he'd eat people, though. Just look like he'd be after bugs and maybe just be eating, like, cows and shit. I don't know.
You disappear.
It's pretty messed up that in Aang's dream he imagines Gyatso literally turning into ash. Jesus Christ. Ever notice how here it shows Aang's glider is actually caught up in Appa's reins? I guess it might have had a chance to go flying off him in the crash, but they probably could have got away without including that detail. Cool that they did, though. Here we get a split-second shot of the Fire Lord, and kind of a double meaning with the lightning imagery. Of course it's connected to Aang's storm dream, but it's also the first connection we get with firebenders and lightning. Sokka's seen holding the same knife he used in the episode Jet for a second there. I'm not sure if we ever see it again. Maybe once or twice. In this shot, we can see Appa's reins aren't attached to one of his horns. Then, a couple shots later, Aang is doing them up.
What happened in your dream?
Food eats people.
Holy crap! I'm so amazed at how detailed this show is. They really put their love. This is why this is my favorite TV show of all time. I know I probably said it was Ed, Edd and Eddy, but it's Avatar. I mean, I feel like Avatar's a tier above something like Ed, Edd and Eddy. Not that Ed, Edd and Eddy's not good, but feelings, man, emotions. Love, care, and attention. Oh.
I'm with Sokka on this one. Food's been at the bottom of the food chain for too long. They gotta be planning something.
Also, Momo could talk.
You said some very unkind things.
Oh, you don't like it? Well, let's go right now.
Here it shows Aang looking at these...
Oh, come on, man. This guy's too damn good. He really loves this show, and I really love that he does.
Flock of birds, and then in the transition shot, it shows that they're near Zuko as well. That's a pretty clever way of showing that they're near each other.
It's really cool.
Storm coming. A big one.
You guys have heard of this, right? The old, like, I can feel it in me bones thing that old people get about a storm.
I feel that, though, too. It's weird. And it's not even like I can feel it in my bones. He smelled it. He can smell the rain. I can smell the rain too. I know it sounds crazy, but I can smell when it's going to rain really hard, especially if I'm outside. I can smell it. It's weird. It's a weird thing to have, but we can.
Is that real? Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
The safety of the crew doesn't matter.
Oh!
This isn't the first time we see this guy, actually. If you were paying attention, you could see him and Zuko sparring at the start of the waterbending scroll.
Really?
I just realized we're out of money anyway.
Hey, what the hell, man? Relax.
What do you know about respect?
Iroh's in the background like, whoa, pump the brakes! This is a cool concept and how it starts smoking and all. But all I ever think about when I see this shot is, man, they made Zuko pale in this episode.
Yeah.
Joints say there's going to be a storm.
He's always been pale.
A bad one.
Huh.
For some
pretty
reason.
smart. Hold on one sec.
You're the Avatar, ain't you?
That's right.
Alright, I'm gonna do it to you again, Katara. Stop being so proud to tell people Aang is the Avatar. Your home almost got burned down.
Seriously.
Suki's home did get burned down. You almost got crystallized and died. Your brother got kidnapped by a Cloverfield panda. You started a gang war between...
Ooh. Cloverfield panda. Cloverfield panda. Ooh, that's more terrifying than it actually sounds. But it's more terrifying than what he described, honestly. I mean, it's even more terrifying than what Heibai turned into. I'm sorry. Oh.
Firebenders and pirates, you got indoctrinated into a cult, and then you almost got indoctrinated into another cult. Stop telling people Aang is the Avatar.
The Avatar disappeared for 100 years. You turned it back on the world.
This is something I'm really glad they touch on.
Oh,
the
I
older
love
generation
this.
would absolutely be jaded towards Aang. They
Yeah.
would have heard stories their whole lives about how the Avatar was supposed to return and save the world, but he didn't. And they had to spend their entire lives surrounded by war, losing loved ones and friends to it, or just straight up being subjugated by the Fire Nation. I'm surprised we don't see more of it as the show goes on, but I'm really glad they hit that note here. Man, this takeoff looks really weird, right? Like, no run-up or anything, no
Oh,
big
yeah.
jump, just start zooming.
Looks like your uncle was right about the storm after all.
Lucky guess.
A guess? Alright, just gonna do one of these real quick.
That
Wh-
fisherman's
why?
way out of line.
He's
a really
just
nice
trying to
touch
make
that they
Zuko
included
feel
these
better.
Raindrop shadows falling. Looks cool.
What?
It's a really nice touch that they included these raindrop shadows falling. Looks cool. What isn't a nice touch is that Katara walks up and casts her shadow on Aang, which should prevent the raindrop shadows from being seen, but they're still there. It's cool that in this scene we can see Aang has his tattoos and the others don't. It puts the question of why that's the case in the viewer's head. I honestly think that there's this throwaway line earlier to remind the audience that they are actually tattoos and not just some Avatar thing.
Boy with tattoos. Airbender tattoos.
And then the masters show up with their tattoos, and you're like, oh, it's
He's a
because Aang
master.
is fucking nuts at airbending.
Do you remember these?
Those were some of my favorite toys when I was little.
You chose them from among thousands of toys, Aang. The toys you picked were the 4 Avatar relics. You chose them because they were familiar.
So I've been told that this is the actual method for finding a new Dalai Lama in real life. That's a really cool way
Yes.
to do it. They keep the spirit world and Aang's connection to the past weird and vague and interesting.
I fear that war may be upon us, young Avatar.
We need you, Aang.
This line is probably the genesis of Aang's dream from the start of the episode. If you are paying attention, it's repeated over and over.
We need you,
We need
Aang.
you, Aang.
We need you, Aang.
Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad.
I'm sick of taking it.
That's what I'm saying. This episode, at least Aang's side. I don't think Aang's side really gets enough credit because everybody remembers Zuko's story. But Aang's side really deserves all the credit in the world because, man, it's the first time. I remember I was watching this with a friend of mine. She knows who she is. She was like saying, this poor kid has the world on his shoulders. And he really does. He's had, and I always thought they don't spell that out until the first episode of season 2 when that crazy fucking general is driving him nuts and trying to get him to learn the Avatar state, and he's just really grasping the situation, and he manipulates him and says, oh, people are dying while you're waiting. And I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, he's had the whole world on his damn shoulders for a good while.
Orders. I'm tired of chasing his avatar. I mean, who does Zuko think he is?
You really want to know?
Want to know?
General Iroh.
Why is this so believable? You ever get caught doing something you're not supposed to do and then just suddenly you're like, oh, I'm standing up now. How is this one little detail so accurate? If you look
It
super
is.
closely here, you can actually see the younger Zuko from the flashback walking up into the fire before the flashback even
Oh.
starts by like a pretty significant amount of time. When we see a young, unscarred Zuko here, we hear this kind of upbeat, triumphant version of the Fire Nation motif. Keep that in mind for later.
They'll be used as a distraction while we mount an attack from the rear. What better to use as bait than fresh meat?
You can't sacrifice an entire division like that. Those soldiers love and defend our nation. How can you betray them?
Zuko speaking up here has got to hit hard for the crew this story's being told to, right? That spoiled prince they think he is just spoke up for the everyman, the common soldier. That's a strong character beat, man. Alright,
Yeah.
damn it. I was gonna save this one, but I really want to say it now. Fast forward to the flashbacks in Appa's Lost Days. This kid? That's him! It's gotta be, right? That's crazy continuity. Who on the animation team thought of that?
Okay, now who wants to have Jinju on their team?
Oh, and the little bastard got taller than Aang. I don't know why, but that's hilarious.
All of these kids were burned to death horribly months later. Also, oh my god, you could not get away with this joke nowadays. Holy moly. Okay, we got sideways.
Why? Why not? You think it doesn't happen still? Come on, that would still happen in school. Please. Oh, see why I love this guy? I'm so happy to be doing these videos. I really am.
Monkey Face, we got Hey Bye, we got Pirate Ship Wheel, and we got the White Lotus.
Yeah.
The same 4 as we saw in the other episode.
Holy
Are there
shit.
only 4 tile types in this game? Gyatso moves the White
Probably
Lotus
not.
tile as well. Was he part of the White Lotus? I mean, it's pretty easy headcanon to accept, but
I think
won't
so.
say yay or nay.
Imagine if they decided to do a prequel series. Well, they can't do something like that because Uncle has to be a part of it. But imagine if they do something on the history of the White Lotus and you find out that he was a part of it. Oh, beautiful.
Aang has already trained enough for today.
Time is short. Come with me.
This is the second time they reference time being an issue.
But there are troubling signs. Storm clouds are gathering.
I fear that war may be upon us, young Avatar.
Sozin's comment wouldn't be totally out of the realm of possibility for them to know about, right? Do you think they
No.
knew Sozin was going to pull some shit on the air temples?
When he turned to face his opponent, he was...
But to be fair, I don't think they would have, known, they didn't have the kind of technology to track comets and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe they didn't know. They didn't know another comet was coming.
surprised to see it was not the general. Zuko had spoken out against the general's plan. But by doing so in the Fire Lord's war room, it was the Fire Lord whom he had disrespected.
This is some serious mental
It
gymnastics,
really
right?
is.
It's obvious that Ozai just wanted to nuke his own kid's face
He
off his
did.
head.
It was bullshit.
To have freedom and fun. He needs
Usually
to
in
grow up as a
kings,
noble boy.
usually in times of like royalty and stuff like that, there's always bullshit reasons as to why people are punished.
You cannot keep protecting him from his destiny.
Gyatso, I know you mean well, but you are letting your affection for the boy cloud your judgment.
All I want is what is best for him.
But what we need is what's best, for the world.
I feel like this works so well, dude. It's
does.
almost like a commentary on the chosen one child archetype, right? No kid would be able to handle that pressure.
Nope.
And even if they could, they're not going to grow up to be a good person. Being told that they're the chosen one, being put on a pedestal. Gyatso seems to get that. And I don't really feel like the other monks don't get it. They're just in a bad situation, and they're willing to sacrifice Aang's childhood.
How could they do that to me? They wanted to take away everything I knew and everyone I loved.
This is pretty crazy, right? This is the only time we ever see Aang go, like, borderline Avatar state. And it's not even out of, like, in-the-moment anger. This is some deep-seated stuff in his head, clearly. This is some shit you should yell about. Fucking Great Divide ass. You can see some of Aang's favorite toys on his bed frame here. I actually never noticed that one.
Wow.
So this episode is obviously dripping with parallels between Aang and Zuko. Both of their stories being told quietly around a fire. Both of them blame themselves for what happened and are controlled by it to this day to some extent. With that being the case, I'm going to point out 2 really dumb contrasts that I never told anyone because they're that dumb. But I have a small platform now, so I'm doing it and no one can stop me. Aang, Zuko, opposite ends of the alphabet. Probably not an accident. Zuko, red marking on his face. Aang, blue marking on his face. Opposites. Also probably not an accident. I think about this show a lot, okay? Okay, I know it shows that Ozai's
It's not a
back
bad
here,
thing.
but the rest of the room seems to be pretty well lit too. So if we're being entirely fair,
By the way, do you see that? Look at all the people. They're all wearing different garments of clothing. Don't they all wear red? So look at that. It kind of looks like people from the other nations are there as well. It might be a weird continuity thing, but hey, they probably... I don't know. Maybe the Fire Nation actually did have some colonies. It's a really interesting shot.
I probably shouldn't be shadowed like this. I'm not saying anything negative, though. The Ozai reveal in Season 3 is great, so
Yes.
if they want to keep him in shadows, by all means. Oh, we got Bozo here, and oh, hey, look, it's Azula. About half a season before she's properly introduced. That's cool.
After the duel, the
While
Fire Lord
Zuko's face
said
is
that
getting
by
burned.
refusing to fight, Zuko had shown shameful weakness. As punishment, he was banished and sent to capture the Avatar.
That's the thing. Zuko wasn't burned and exiled for speaking out against war plans. That's the reason he fought the Agni Kai. Zuko was burned and exiled for not wanting to fight his own father. This is where the viewer can really start to see that Zuko's not a villain. He's kind of like Jet in a way. He's not evil, he's just driven in the wrong direction.
So that's why he's so obsessed. Capturing the Avatar is the only chance he has of things returning to normal.
I mean, if that's not a well-written, understandable reason, I don't know what is, man.
The
Yeah,
world needs
he's right.
you now. You give people hope.
But the important thing is, The Avatar gives Zuko hope.
In back-to-back scenes, it said that Aang gives people hope, but it takes on a very different meaning when Aro says it. Really cool writing.
Oh, the show is so
awesome shot, man. I love that show.
It is. So good, the show. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Where I mean, it's not my favorite episode, but this episode cannot be denied on how amazing that is. And honestly, like I said, it should have been up for an Emmy or something. But you know how the Academy is. Bullshit. They let actual good things go by to what they think is popular because they're old.
They're caught out at sea. I'm going to find them. I'm going with you.
I'm staying here.
Yeah, it looks like the same guy. Man, there's something so cool about Aro just noticing or feeling something here.
Yeah.
He explains later that lightning occurs when you separate the energies of yin and yang and then bring them back together. It could be that he's so good at it that he can recognize and feel when that happens in nature. That's so cool. If you look closely here, Aro doesn't use the usual two-finger movement we see with lightning generation and redirection. Could be that natural lightning is more powerful, or maybe they just hadn't thought of that yet.
Okay.
When Zuko catches the helmsman here, you can hear a similar musical cue from when we first saw him as a bright-eyed kid. This, along with him going back on his
The safety of the crew doesn't matter.
line, we know that somewhere deep down, that good kid is still in Zuko.
Yes! Fantastic!
Aang do be twirling his stick, though. Good to remind the audience that Aang can waterbend a little now, too. He learned some, but then he didn't do any in the last 2 episodes, so good to remind people.
Jeez. Look at that.
This is a good redemption moment. I'll be honest, no one really remembers this episode for its end action scene, but for what it's worth, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, also, excuse me, yes they do remember, because the look. The damn look.
I'm sorry.
Your
Apology is accepted.
God, Aro is such an awesome character.
He really
Quick
is.
to help, quick to forgive. I love this man. What an interesting shot, right? We just learned both of these characters' backstories, and they're different in a lot of ways, but they're the same in a lot of ways too. I like that they just get a moment to see each other before the episode ends.
Even though I never really truly understood that when I was younger, because this came out when I was like 11 or 12, so again, I wasn't thinking that deeply. But now as an adult, I'm like, wow. They're like, it's like a mirror. They're just looking at each other and just not realizing the similarities that they have. And then the next episode, this is why I always love to watch the next episode, because there's something similar that happens in the episode. I'll discuss it when we get there.
I can't make guesses about how things would have turned out if I hadn't run away. I'm here now, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't think you're gonna have those nightmares anymore.
Do you hear that? It stopped raining.
Aang's emotional turmoil was represented by the storm, and with the storm ending, the audience gets a feeling that Aang is truly ready to move on. That's some good symbolism and subtle writing. Unlike some episodes. Remember back on episode 8 where I mentioned this show has jumps in quality? Or at least I believe it does. I think this is one of them. I think just about anyone who gets up to this point will realize that this show really has something to say.
Yes.
And can take itself seriously. This is absolutely one of the standout episodes of Book 1. And a lot of people's favorite. It's hard to ignore why. Both of the backstories are interesting, and they give new context to our characters' actions and emotions. It's not my personal favorite out of Book 1, though. It's close, but not quite. My favorite is up next, actually. So if you like the video, give it a like, and if you really like it, subscribe.
I understand what he means by that. That episode, the next episode is so action-packed, and it's so fantastic that it actually pissed me off when they redid it in the last Airbender movie, and it wasn't done right. It was done terribly. But anyway, yeah, this episode is freaking fantastic, and the fact that he was I think the fact that he was able to bring all those out just made it even more fantastic for me. I love it. I think I've said all I need to say though during the episode. Like, there's not much else I could say. Yeah, I mean, it's just everything that this is where, like he said, this is where the show truly began. You know, yeah, they're going on a journey, but then you just know what the turmoil of the characters are, and it's It really works. This is why the show is so amazing. But hey, let's not dwell on it anymore. But hey, we're going to get into the next episode very soon. So please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve it. And I'll see you on the next episode.